Good day to everybody watching. Today we are going to be further diving into the Ashes of Creation situation. Obviously, we're going to be watching Kira here, so if you would go support his video if you like it. But this is part one of a 5-part episode deal. So, this is going to be part one. Without any further ado, let's get into this. Also, the link will be in the description and comments below. Let's go.
What up, friendos? Welcome back. Let's talk about Ashes of Creation today. There's some drama abound. There's some news. There's some things going on, and everyone on the MMO subreddit's calling it a scam again. Everyone on the Ashes of Creation subreddit.
It's because it is a scam. I'm like, that's basically what it's turned into.
Are going back and forth about what this means, and is the sky falling, and is this the end of Ashes of Creation, and has the rug finally been pulled? All the usual stuff that you expect to see when something deeply serious, such as a video game company, has fired some people. And I'm not saying it's not serious if you have some kind of emotional or financial incentive or investment into Ashes being the next and only greatest hope of the MMORPG genre, which, if you feel that way, fair enough.
I'm gonna say I've seen the gameplay. It looked really good, and it's really a shame to see it be canceled.
I'm just saying, for me, this is just something to talk about that people are interested in. I don't particularly care. Sucks that people lose their job, but that's life. So the news here is that this person posted on LinkedIn saying that, sorry to hear about the layoffs that's just happened at Intrepid. And then everyone just immediately jumped on this and was like, oh my God, this is fucking...
I'm gonna pause for a second to say, isn't it kind of weird LinkedIn's used to be like about finding jobs, now people kind of post on like it's social media? Just a weird thought. And we'll resume now.
The end, we've just thrown the ring into Mount Doom and it's all about to implode. Is this a really bad sign? I don't know. You don't know. Only people internally at the studio knows. We're going to look at what Steven said because he addressed the drama. And obviously there's a guy here. This is not new. There's been layoffs at Intrepid before. John Waynick, Unreal Engine supervisor and generalist lead technical environment artist, said more layoffs at Intrepid. It sucked getting laid off last February, but I'd hoped that would be the end of it and the rest of the team would survive. So sad to hear. So let's take a look at what Steven specifically said, because this is, I guess, the most relevant piece of information since, he is the fucking owner of the company. He said, I want to add some clarity here. Always love some clarity being added, because I know how concerning headlines like this can be. Recently, 9 people out of a team of 250 were impacted as part of some targeted team adjustments. That's not a corporate buzzword. That's not some upper management wording right there. This was not a large-scale layoff and not a reflection of the health or future of Ashes of Creation. Maybe... I'm
going to say it like this. You cannot trust a corporation, to be honest with you. If they're going downhill, do you really think they're going to tell you? Because if they tell you, then you have time to prepare for a lawsuit. You have time to jump ship. You have time not to give them more money. There's more incentive to lie. Because, like investors, because the investors don't know as much. They know more than we do. But they don't know as much as the people working at the company know. So they tell this lie to keep the investors happy. Because if you don't keep the investors happy, they start pulling their money. Well, then you lose a lot more shit. And then that makes life a lot more difficult. So, what it feels like to me is definitely, like as you're saying, a rug pull. So the people that got the money, they took the money, and they're now running with it. Or maybe they spent it all, and it's like they actually spent it all, and there is no more money, and they're just trying to run. Who can really say, Mike?
Who know? We don't know. We'll see, I guess. These are real people and friends. This was not an easy decision. We're doing what we can to support those affected. At the same time, development on Ashes is continuing forward, and the team remains strong and fully engaged on the project. I appreciate how much this community cares. It means a lot to me and the team. I ask that we just keep conversation respectful and grounded in facts. We don't have facts, so all anyone can really do is speculate, because facts are things we absolutely do not have. So basically, that's where we're at with it all. That's what has happened. That's what Steven said. He says it's 9 people. He also says it's a team of 250. These are numbers, like, are these 250 people full-time employed in studio, in the location that they use as an office? I don't know. I've not looked into this. The thing is that every time like a studio in the MMO genre suffers layoffs or a game closes down, Steven is on social media being like, oh, contact me. Maybe we have a job for you at Intrepid and things like that, which I'm never going to think that's not PR, because that's the way my brain works. I'm a cynical person. I'm just assuming that it's win-win, because if some crazy talented person is like, yeah, actually, I want to come work there, then you can always make space for those people, and that's a win. And also, all the community thinks, oh, look at that, they're doing well, they're not laying people off, look, Steven's such a great guy. That's a win as well. So there's no reason not to do it, because if you don't end up hiring anybody, you still look good and people still think of you highly. But generally, if someone ever does that, I think, yeah, that's just PR, right? I mean, there's no negatives to it. It just is what it is. It's going to get you something no matter what you do, no matter what happens. But obviously, if you're doing that and then also laying people off every year, and it's not like you're just, you're underperforming.
We're laying people off every year. It looks kind of bad. I'm trying to make sure I understand this correctly. So this guy is hiring people, but then he's firing people every year. Like, trying sorry, I'm trying to make sense of it. No, there is no fucking sense to this shit, man. I'm sorry. I need to stop saying that. We're gonna just continue this. I want to try to get a little bit more information from this.
Performing, you're fired. You're underperforming, you're fired. Oh, we've got somebody else in that's better at the job.
Okay. So it could be that they're setting unrealistic high standards for people that they've had for a longer time. It's not uncommon that people, like companies, try to get rid of people with a seniority, because people with seniority, well, they tend to get paid more. They tend to get more benefits and get close to their retirement and stuff like that, which equals the company has to pay out more. So why would I want to keep you for seniority? It's like, oh, you're a good developer. I'm like, yeah, that's cool and all, but why would I need to keep you if I can just find somebody that can do half of what you could do and pay them even less? Not even have to give them benefits or any health insurance or anything like that. Actually, I think health insurance might be required by law. Let me look that up. Required to offer. Sorry, finger's not working. Health insurance. Are companies required to offer health insurance? I don't think they are, but they could be thinking. Under the Affordable Care Act, ACA, companies with 50 or more full-time equivalent employees, applicable large employers, or where the fuck that is, are required to offer affordable minimum value health insurance at least 95% of their full-time staff, 30+ hours a week, and their dependents or okay, so basically, yeah, they do. They have. This is a big company, but I don't know if they're got their employees full-time or part-time. I would assume full-time, so they gotta offer them health insurance, which is more money. I don't know if that gets really affects anything, cause for seniority wise, but hey, just another reason to let somebody go. Why pay you more when I can pay somebody less?
Job than you're
Do the
fired.
same thing.
When it's layoffs and it's like a group of people at a certain time, we are conditioned in the games industry because of how many massive layoffs there's been over the last 4 years to be like, oh, that's bad. They're running out of money. You know, the sky's falling. All these negative things. But again, we don't know. It's just perception wise, that's what people are going to think, and that's exactly what people are thinking. If you look through this thread, this is on the Ashes subreddit, which is positive. I mean, more positive than the MMO subreddit is anyway, which is kind of like saying being stabbed to death is better than being shot to death, I guess. Or being, you know, the fucking friend.
I'll be honest with you. I think I'd rather be shot to death than stabbed to death. More likely to die faster, I'd assume, from being shot than being stabbed. Plus, have you ever been stabbed like that? That shit actually fucking hurts. I've only been stabbed really with a pencil. Dude fucking jabbed me in the fucking leg and broke the lead off my leg. Fucking hurt. So I can't imagine being stabbed by a knife feels much better.
One, would you rather be burned alive or drowned? Like, we're kind of in that territory of comparison. You know, layoffs before it's even in beta. You know, this is not the first time, but this is what people are going to think. It's negative press regardless, because you're not just firing one person. You think of rounds of layoffs and you think negative things, because what else are you going to think? But realistically, this could just be you know, these people were just not needed anymore, which raises the question, what were they doing in the company if it's not even in beta yet and these people weren't needed? You know, why were they hired in the first place? You know, which core system is now done? You could draw a lot of conclusions from this nothing burger of information. We simply don't know. Obviously, there is an element of this where people are like, oh, Steven's repeatedly said the whole thing's funded himself. He doesn't need anybody's money, but we're selling the game. We're selling these expensive packages. We're constantly using FOMO cosmetics, etc., etc. Problems people have had with the game for years and years now.
I like this. It's going to be hilarious seeing how people defend this on this sub LOL.
Now, why that's going on? Does he need to fire people? And the simple response to that is, just because you've got money doesn't mean everyone is equal at a company and doing all equal things, and you're just going to fucking give people a job and keep them employed as like some kind of handout when perhaps you don't need them or whatever. It's still a business, and business is business. It's cutthroat in that way. You know, there is a funny, interesting.
See, he's right. He's right there. You say, I've probably already made this analogy before, once in this video, but you have two people. They're both doing the same job, but you only need one of them. Well, why would you keep both of them if you only need one of them to do the job? Like, because you're paying both of them a wage. Well, why not just let one of them go? Keep the other. Keep his pay the same, but then you get to pocket the money what you're paying the other dude. It's right. It's just business. And it sucks like it is, and it is sad. And I am sorry for anyone that loses their job in the industry, but it's business. If you feel like you were wrongfully terminated, if I'm not mistaken, you can file a lawsuit if it's actually wrongful termination. But otherwise, like, if you do that also, could damage your ability to get another job elsewhere in that same industry. Because I've read articles and I've seen YouTube videos on like the industry being pretty cutthroat, and like game developers or like anyone like working in the game industry filing a lawsuit, like a wrongful termination lawsuit or any lawsuit in general, makes it more difficult for you to find work in the industry of like anything to do with games, because you've got basically marked that you will file a lawsuit. So therefore, not a lot of people are going to want to hire you because you might file a lawsuit if they terminate. But hey, we're going to resume the video now.
Thing about this though that always makes me laugh, and somebody linked it in here. It's this one from their own website. Family Family, the gaming industry can be a turbulent storm of hiring cycles and layoffs. We've set out to do something different to break this cycle and create an independent studio capable of withstanding the chaos of the industry. We brought on board a team of professionals that hold a diverse set of skills and who have a singular goal of making fun games. The studio is designed to be an open place for collaboration and communication, a place that is conducive to team building and success. Our goal is to build a family that will laugh together, play together, succeed together, and stay together.
There is no such thing as family in business. When they say, like, we're a family at a place you work, I fucking worked at places like that. They're like, we're a family. You know what? I got fired. Where was the family then? It's not family. It's business. They try to make this is like all like for public appearance. Behind like closed doors and all that shit, you're just another fucking pawn to them. Disposable. Because there's a million other pawns that'll take your place.
Again, I'm the dickhead, right? Everyone says, Kira, you only make negative content. You're a doomer. You're a doom tuber. You're X, Y, and Z just because the topics that most interest me are the negative ones. It's why I do this. If it doesn't interest me, I'm not going to talk about it.
That's
and
fair.
Unfortunately, the way my brain works is that it's got to be something that's perceived as negative because I like that. It's just my thing. I think I'm relatively good at talking about that stuff anyway, probably because it interests me and I've followed it for so many years in the industry. That being said, when I hear somebody say family in a business sense, I can only ever think that you're full of shit because it's just, if you treated a business like a family, one, you'd be stupid. And two, if it was like all hugs and rainbows and kisses, you wouldn't need to tell people it was a family because people would be telling other people it's a family. It's like if that's your PR slogan, oh, it's like a family over here. I think you're full of shit. I don't trust you immediately when you do that. And obviously, it's funny when you're like, oh, we're a family. We're not going to have the usual industry things. Layoff next year. Layoff. Like it. I'm not saying it's unnecessary. I'm not saying they're doing terrible things over there. I'm just saying it is funny in contrast when you look at what they're saying and what they're doing. It's same old shit as always, right? Water's wet. This is no news here. Yep. That being said, I obviously said before Ashes came out in their Steam release,
14,661 active players right now. The all-time peak was 31,882. For an MMO, that is really low. That's a really low number. Concurrent players is also really low. But I'm going to assume if this is like current, we're going to resume the video here in a second, but if this is like right now, I can believe these numbers are like for this, since it's announced to be like canceled. This is not good. For an MMO, this is not good. Because fucking World of Warcraft, hold on. What? Just a comparison to a big one is, I don't know why I put that. What was it? Player cap? Oh, you know what? I'm gonna put highest player. Sorry, I'm trying to think of something. Based on recent 2025-2026 data, World of Warcraft has experienced a surge in popularity and the estimated monthly active users reaching around 9 million. That's monthly. Okay, daily, here we go. 1 to 2 million. Now, I'm not saying they need to hit that number. I'm not saying they need to hit 1 to 2 million. But this cannot sustain an MMO. This number cannot sustain an MMO long term. But again, they're early access, so. But that's another problem, is that they're early access. They need money to finish the game, and then this is their max players that they've ever gotten. This is their concurrent players. it's just would not be good. And like, you know, if y'all get what I'm saying, it's like they need money incoming. I've been rambling on too long, so we're gonna resume the video.
That I was going to treat
I was just saying they do need money. You need money to run servers. My bad. I'm gonna finish that. You need money to run servers, obviously. I mean, that's common sense. You either gotta run ads or something like that in the game, or have like players buy microtransactions. Now we'll resume the video.
Ashes as a fully released product. I've not played the game. It launched at a terrible time for me to play it because you all want to play the launch of an MMO, right? It's the best time to play. But it launched like right next to PoE 2 League, and I'm not missing a PoE 2 League just so I can go and fucking alpha test an expensive, unfinished, many years from being done MMORPG. Like, I'm just not doing it, even if it's for content and people want to see my opinion on what the game currently is. That being said, when you're treating a game as a release product because it's charging and operating like a release product, box price, cosmetics in the cash shop in the game, you have to be fair. And any other game that would have released on Steam, I'd have said, let's look at the numbers a month or so after release. And the numbers are not good, right? It's lost essentially half its player base in a month. Again, it is an alpha. You can use that as a shield to deflect criticism. But in my eyes, this is a release product, and a release product losing half its player base is...
Okay. The shield criticism, try to hide behind that, like it's an alpha, the shield criticism. It's not shielding criticism. I don't give a fuck whether it's an alpha or not. I spent money on it. I want it to be good. At the end of the day, if it's an alpha, that's not my problem, or neither was it my decision. Again, I will state common sense. All right, a common opinion. Does not matter, alpha or not. If I give you $70, I'm expecting a good experience. If I hop in and like there's microtransactions instantly hitting me, like, oh, buy this, buy this, buy this, you've already fucked my experience. Doesn't mean you can't make a good game. You can have microtransactions. It's just... I'm assuming that's where he's going to go with this. It's like it was like microtransactions might have been implemented and pushed in your face. Yeah.
Probably not good. And then the layoffs you add in and things like that. It overall, I can see why people have a negative perception of this. I don't particularly think this is like the biggest deal in the world. But since this is the first video talking about Ashes since the game did release on Steam, yes. At least I think it is. I don't think I've talked about it since it released on Steam. The reviews are exactly what I thought they were going to be. You know, it released and a lot of people gave it negative reviews because it's an alpha game charging a box price and selling cosmetics, and people are treating it as if this is a finished game because, for all intents and purposes, that's what they're selling. That's what they're presenting to people. And then people get in the game despite the warnings, of course. And it's not a finished game. And it's a game that no doubt a lot of people are having fun playing.
All right. Here's a problem I have with this. And again, I might repeat myself in some parts. But you're charging box price, as you said, charging box price for an early access game. And then you have microtransactions that are cosmetic microtransactions. Which I support that. I'm fine with that. Cosmetic, as I said before, I am fine with that. But like pay to win mechanics and like having microtransactions pushed on you the second you get in, I have problems with that. If they had come out and they probably, I don't know, released early access and like it's not a box price, like I'm gonna say $70, but it's called Ashes of the Creation. Let me try to find that on Steam real quick. Y'all see Ashes of Creations. Here we go. Ashes of the Creations. It's probably not... Ooh, fuck. No longer available for purchase. I don't know how much it was going to be, I guess. But I'm going to say it was like $70 or so dollars. Yeah, I said that now mostly negative and overwhelmingly negative. For all intents and purposes, I'm gonna say $60 to $70. That's what they're want. Probably gonna say. I'm gonna say what they're wanting for it. It's an unfinished game. It's an MMO. If I get if you need money, but if you got microtransactions in the game, I would say charge anywhere from $20 to $30. Get the player in the game. Don't push the microtransactions heavily, and people will buy the microtransactions. You'll have more eyes in the game to buy your microtransactions. Hell, they can go free to play for the early access. But maybe that's a bad idea. I'm like, it's their business at the end of the day, but there's ways they could have gone about this in a smarter way. It's like, honestly, early access for an MMO, I would not pay a box price of like $60 to $70 for an MMO early access. Unless it was backed by a really big company. Alright, we're going to resume the video again.
I'm not saying it's devoid of fun or that, you know, you can't have a good time playing it. There's some things that you enjoy that I'm not going to or that other people aren't going to, and that's fine. But it is exactly as expected. People bought the game, people got into the game, and they were looking for like the next big MMO to play, and they realized that it's not finished. It's what we knew was going to happen. I don't think this sort of thing hurts it in the incredibly long term, but at the same time, just to give you some examples of when this has been the case, if you look at something like New World, which we all know is just spectacularly closed down in a fucking ball of fire and destruction, leaving behind a devastated industry in its wake. Amazon Game Studios, $500 million per year budget, no fucking games, not a wanna, not a single game gone. Just
Amazon's fucking game section, like their gaming department for making games, an absolute fucking joke. New World was actually fun when it first released, and what was fun about it was the PvP. That is something I found to be fun. The grinding was a bit fun, but after the mist cleared up, you realize there's nothing there. It's empty. Even in like early game, like when New World first released, people found a meta with like PvP, like what was it? I think it was like the Ice Gauntlet, and paired with something else, made it near impossible. Like a balance issue, like near impossible to kill them. I can't remember what the moveset they was. I remember I died to it a couple times, and it was a big problem because apparently I wasn't the only one experiencing it. As a lot of other players were experiencing it. That people were using like an Ice Gauntlet meta with something else. It's like a dual weapon, two weapons that they're using together, and they're jumping people. But it was a lot of fun when it first released. I did have fun with my friends. It was loads of fun. My most memorable time was when we were chasing this guy. His PvP he's a opposite faction, I guess. I can't remember how it works, if I ever factions or not, but I think it's factions. But point is, we're chasing this dude, and he lured us around a mountain. And when we went around that mountain, his entire team, like an army, jumped down from above us and started attacking us. My buddies ran. I stayed in fight. I don't think I killed any. I'm pretty sure I just pretty much instantly got jumped and died, while some chased my buddies away. But that was so memorable and funny, and I wish to this day I was recording that. That was like so much fun. It was one of my favorite memories from any game I've ever played. And it's a shame to see them shutting New World down. There was somebody who made a offer on the New World. I don't know if it's a joke though or not. If the guy was joking or not. If he's not joking though, I'd say he should. It'd be awesome to see him buy New World and preserve it. But who knows? It's a shame to see it go, but we're gonna resume this video because I'm already at 29 minutes and this video still has a bit to go.
Just fucking piss that money away forever. Nobody cares, I guess. But obviously, when you look at like what happened with New World, millions and millions of people bought that game. It had no sub cost. It wasn't in early access. It wasn't an alpha. It wasn't an indie, whatever. It didn't have a bunch of drama surrounding like the creator or whatever, being a Kickstarter MMO, things like that, negative stigma topics. It was a game developed by one of the biggest companies on the planet that millions of people had already removed the barrier for entry to get into the game. It had 4+ years of constant development and patches. It had people all over social media saying, "Oh, it's the best it's ever been. It's really good now. You should come play it." And no fucker did. Just because when they originally played it, they were like, no, actually, I don't want to play that game. That's not very good. And then a year later, do I want to go back and play New World? Actually, no, fuck it. I've moved on now. I'm going to play something else. 2 years later, same story. 3 years later, same story. Repeat, repeat, repeat.
Short pause. I actually tried to hop into New World again a couple times. Every time I went back, it just felt like the same game that I got bored of. It just wasn't fun. There was nothing interesting, nothing new. They tried something new stuff like with weapons and all that, but it's just it didn't work. It just was boring. It killed they killed the magic. It should have been something from the start. Something better from the start. Not to mention something that really fucked it as well is they had their dungeons locked behind like such a grind that it was not fun. They did change that, but they changed it a little too late because now there's not even enough people to put together a dungeon party to go into a dungeon.
And no matter how much development they put into the game, no matter how much everyone told you it was way better, first impressions, regardless of what you and I want to say, do matter. People can be telling you this is the best thing. It's the second coming of Jesus Christ himself. And if you already tested it or saw people test it or played it or whatever you want to call it, and you didn't like it or you thought it was bad or you've heard a bunch of shit around the game and you've just sort of like mentally moved on, are you going to come back later down the line?
Probably not.
Not necessarily. There are examples where this has worked out, No Man's Sky being one of the main ones people use.
Yes, I actually have returned to No Man's Sky a couple times. When it had this first big update with the fleet, I returned for that. It was okay. I didn't really it didn't catch my attention that much. But then they had the build your ship update. I fucking love that update. It's still I intend to return back to it later. Probably in hell, I probably might return to back to it Sunday and do a live stream here on YouTube or Twitch. If I do it on Twitch, I'll upload a video letting y'all know I'm live streaming on Twitch and y'all can come watch me play No Man's Sky. Oh, but like there was a bug. It was on No Man's Sky, where it would copy my buddy's ship. It copied my buddy's ship like 3 times onto my ship, which drove me crazy because I spent time on my ship and then it would end up looking just like his ship. And I'm like, my baby, it's gone. Sad. But No Man's Sky is a really good game and a good example for an MMO that can revive itself. I think it's an MMO. All right, resuming.
But there's also many other examples where it hasn't worked out. So obviously, when you combine all these things, I think I'm correct in saying what happened before the Steam release, which is I said this is probably a bad idea in the long term of the game's future. Ooh. It's probably vindicated, right? Because while 15,000 players is a good, healthy number for a small MMO, it is going down and it's probably going to continue going down. And unless there's another major release around the corner that somehow drags back in a bunch of players and stuff like that, I think it's probably... I don't know if the juice was worth the squeeze. I don't have access to their numbers, but obviously releasing for a box price on Steam, you're doing it.
I want to mention real quick an MMO that fucked itself with an update, which was Neverwinter. They had a good thing going, from what I remember. They had a active, like, loyal community fan base. They were, I was one of them. I loved Neverwinter. And then like, oh, we're gonna remove the level system, and like new max level's gonna be 20, and they changed the combat and all that shit. And I'm like, oh, this sounds cool. And then it came out, and it was not cool. It was dog shit. And they're like, oh yeah, and people hated it. And they're like, oh yeah, well, we're gonna kind of stick with this system. I have no idea if it's got an active player base anymore, to be frankly honest. Actually, let me check. I'm gonna move this over here real quick. I'm gonna resume. Steam charts. I know I'm getting off track a little bit, but I'm just gonna. I want to know, and I want to show y'all. Maybe it rebuilt its player base, for all I know. Neverwinter. Oh. Is that DLC or is that actually never? Okay, it's not never. It's DLC. Okay, here we go. Here it is. Regular Neverwinter. No, that's not. All right, I'm just gonna show you Neverwinter. But the problem is, this is technically Neverwinter. It's on Steam, but like they always got the like weird deals going on right here. Its all-time peak was like 822 players. Do I believe that? Really, I don't. Because if I go back, there's also this one. I don't know which one's the original Neverwinter. Because like it's got all these deals on here, but like I can't. Yeah, so we're just gonna say this is the original though. It wasn't always on Steam, I don't believe. But it's past 7 days. Let's go past 48 hours. No, let's go all time. It's all time active players right now is like 1,000. Ooh. When did they have that up? I don't remember. Alright, well we're gonna resume the video, my bad. I was thinking it was gonna be a bit better than that, but I guess not.
For a couple of reasons. One being money, two being, I guess, access to some more diverse opinions that aren't your core fan base. But it would seem like a lot of those opinions came in one door and left out another one very quickly. So, I don't know if that was worth it. We'll have to wait and see. That being said, I figured I'd just address a couple other things because why not? We're already here. I'm probably not going to talk about it for another couple of months unless something else crazy happens. There's a whole conversation about bots on Ashes. And if you search on this subreddit right now and like just look past week, past fucking month since the game came out, a lot of the posts, game is a botter's paradise. Economy is ruined due to the bots. Here's a bunch of bots flying. Here's a GM talking about the bots and killing the bots. It's a big topic. And one thing I will say is that it's not ideal for a game to have a bunch of bots. It's not ideal for a game to have a thriving RMT community, real money trading for people who don't know what RMT is, buying and selling of gold and in-game goods and services and things like that. But using this as like a cudgel to be like, oh, this game's bad or they're doing something nefarious because there's bots and RMT in the game. Guys, I've been playing MMOs since the late 90s. There is bots in every fucking game. Like, a lot of them.
Minecraft even has bots. World of Warcraft has bots. Minecraft has bots and servers. Bots are inevitable. People will always make a bot. Because either they're too lazy to do it themselves, or they have the bot because they want to make money. Sell the stuff for real world money. Or as well as trade for stuff in game. It's being lazy. It's not necessarily on the game. Now, bots do suck, and they should work on, like, getting rid of them. Because, like, there's ways to get rid of them. Majority-wise, I want to say. You can't actually just get rid of them all, though. Like, it's impossible. Like, it's not even possible. You can just basically get it down to a controlled number. If you got a good, like a system plugin that should be able to detect like certain actions, like repeated actions to be just a bot. Like they have a set path, and if they just keep running that path over and over again and like literally never changing that path ever, then that a plugin should be able to detect, hey, this is bot activity, and just give it a kick or ban it. But they probably don't have the money to do this kind of stuff. Anyway, they're shut down anyway, so.
If you think there isn't, you simply haven't paid attention. I'm not saying that makes this good. And honestly, with a smaller company, you surely would think that they'd be able to just like have a guy. If you've got 250 people working at the studio, surely you could just have a guy every fucking like an hour every evening, just fly around and ban the bots, and then they're gone. And then they have to pay money, usually from stolen credit cards, by the way, or from regions where they're paying like a third or less the price that other people are paying for the game license from Steam using regional pricing, but then they have to rebuy it. And the way RMT works is it will never go away. All that happens is the harder you make it, the more expensive the goods become, which essentially means like, oh, if it costs a botter $50 to make $70, it's exactly like prohibition, basically. Like if you make something illegal or you like crack down on something to the point where it's hard for them to do, it just means that they're going to charge more for their services. It's never going to go away. This is a problem nobody has solved.
Yeah.
You can remove trading like Black Desert Online did. They used to just have people log on their accounts and farm for them. You can ban people for doing it. They just make more accounts. Like there's just money to be made. And that's what people are going to do. It is what it is. It doesn't mean that they shouldn't be doing more. But I think being like, oh, there's loads of bots in this game, they're doing it on purpose, or they're a bad company for not dealing with it. Go look at any MMO. Lost Ark, the estimate was like 30 to 50% of the player base were bots, based on like how the Steam DB worked and how when like they do a maintenance or whatever, it would take a while for all the bots to get back on, and you just see these massive spikes in player base. Or just before an update came out, Old School RuneScape, when it almost hit, I think it was last year, like mid to late last year, 2025, they almost hit they hit like an all-time player peak of almost 200,000 players on Old School RuneScape.
You want to bet how many of those are bots? I've played old school RuneScape and new. I've seen those bots. There's clearly bots. They fucking are so robotic in their movements. And yes, they get kicked, they get banned. But give it an hour or two, and a new one will be just right back to take its place. I've seen bots that have like 20 freaking bots in the same spot, mining the same ore. And the second that ore is mined, they all move over to the next one. And they do it. They rinse and repeat this process. It's fascinating to watch, but it also sucks because it fucks the economy. If you got like in-game trading and all that, because then like the bots are just infinitely doing this and getting resources for some other player so they can get whatever the fuck they want because they get infinite resources from a bot.
Did a bot, like a massive bot crackdown and banned a bunch of accounts. It literally dropped the fucking player base by like 30%. It went down from something stupid, like I think it was like 194,000 to like 130. Like they just wiped 50, like a quarter of their player base due to banning bots, and they wouldn't have even gotten all the bots. Like World of Warcraft, same shit. Like all of these games have the same problem, especially in countries where this is like a really good wage compared to the rest of the work that they could get around them. Of course, you're going to have bots. Like it is what it is. That being said, there's videos on the subreddit of bots flying around the map, delivering crates and things, which is... it's not ideal when people are playing the game normally and goods in the game are tripling per week because the bot problems, out of control. But considering everyone likes to say, oh, it's an alpha, you need to treat it like an alpha. The bots are probably the least of your concerns when people keep figuring out bugs and dupes in the game that are causing massive economic problems in the first place, which is a consistent thing. And as somebody who's played sandbox PvP MMOs since the late 90s, I will tell you that never goes away either. And the best guilds in the game are almost certainly going to be exploiting, hacking, duping, and doing everything that they can to maintain an advantage, because they're probably the same fucking people that have been doing it in the industry for the last 20 years in every game that has an incentive to be a PvP sandbox, duping and exploiting clan. If you've been in one of these clans, they're all...
Okay, I've never really been, I'd say, in a clan like this, but I've played Ark Survival Evolved, and I've been in tribes that are alphas, and they have like multiple servers under their control, and if a dupe ever comes out, they take full advantage of it. Not extensively, like not on their main accounts. They have alt accounts to take advantage of it, and they did that because other tribes are doing it too. And like they're like, so if we don't do it, these tribes are going to get above us, and then they're going to come after us. So like, we're going to do it so we can stay above them and ahead of them. Same goes for like we had another dude that would literally DDoS servers. which is like basically crashing the server. But while it's not right to do that, our dude only did it because would do it because somebody tried to DOS our server. If somebody DOSed our server, he was like really fucking good at it, and he could find out where the guy was and what server he came from, and he's like where he's DOSing from, what server my home server is, and then he would retaliate DOS them. Does it make it right? No, it doesn't make it right, but it is what it is. You can't stop it. People like this are always going to exist. Why do I have a loading icon? When is it loading? That is not a good sign. I don't want to know what that's loading. We're not going to worry about that right now. We're going to resume the video because at this rate, the video I'm recording is going to be like an hour long.
The same people, they move game to game, and this never ends. That's just something you have to come to terms with if this is the game that you're choosing to play, if this is the genre you want to play. You want to be in a sandbox PvP MMO. Like, you've got a fucking thread here. Oh, he had me until the last line, and then I'm like, are you okay? Like, what's going on? He says, playing a level 23 cleric, just grinding, relaxing when a summoner comes along and tries to pull mod packs into me over and over. Then by some miracle, he actually PvP flags, and I think now is my chance to get rid of this person, but he runs away instead. He then comes back and pulls more mobs on me again, so this time I white hit melee him to PvP flag this time. However, right when I did, he summoned a mount with 1 health and my mace AoE hit it and killed it. I got debuff and couldn't fight back fairly. He killed me, took 3 of my items I spent a week trying to get. All funny, by the way, and all stuff that happens in these games. It is what it is. You're going to be grief. That is the game. I've tried explaining this to people from day one when everyone was like, oh, I'm on Asmongold's stream, and Steven came in and Steven said, oh, this game's going to be X, Y, and Z, and all the WoW players, all the World of Warcraft players are like, oh my God, that game sounds great. I can't wait to play that game. You motherfuckers are not prepared. To quote World of Warcraft, to quote Illidan, you are not prepared. Because if you're going from ultimate handholdy theme park World of Warcraft to a fucking sandbox PvP game, and you're thinking, oh yeah, this is the game for me, you're in for a real rude awakening. Let me just tell you. The people, like, if you polled people 3-4 years ago.
Just a quick statement. I hate PvP in MMO games because most of the time they take either a lot of skill or just knowing what buttons to press at the right time.
What their upcoming, big savior the MMO genre was going to be. Loads of people that had never played a PvP sandbox before was going to go, oh, Ashes of Creation, can't wait for that game to come out. It's going to be great. But this game it's for an incredibly niche, hardcore audience. It just is what it is. I've said this the whole time because I am that niche hardcore audience. I've literally just logged off a 200 population Mortal Online 2 because I like, having my balls stamped on apparently by these games that hate you and waste your time and they're bullshit to play. And everyone's griefing you and everyone's a fucking heroin addict for some reason or smokes meth. And they just play these games because, they're punishing themselves for their past transgressions or whatever. But it always confused me, and I always made a point in any video I talked about Ashes to say, this is not the handholdy theme park game you want it to be. It's going to be this. People are going to grief you. People are going to be cheating. It's part and parcel with the game. But he had me right up until he says... This is DEI PvP, fighting over mechanics, not other player skill.
Huh?
What in the fuck is this? I don't even want to look at his profile. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it to myself. I'm moving on. That's it. We've rambled enough in this video. There's layoffs. It happens. Are they a big deal? We'll see.
Any game you play, this is obvious, by the way, but any game you play, it's going to have a cheater. No matter what game you play, there's always going to be somebody who's going to cheat to get an advantage. Whether it be exploiting game mechanics or actually just having hacked software. Having a hack for the game, Having cheats.
I think no matter which way you slice this, I'm not a suck it and see person. If somebody says close your eyes and then something starts waggling about in front of my face, I'm not going to, suck it and find out what it is. I'm just going to assume it's something I don't want to be sucking. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a suck it and see kind of person. The Aeon 2 coverage will prove that. You know, when a company's telling me, oh, it's not going to be pay to win, says company with history of pay to win, I'm just going to assume it's going to be pay to win. And if I'm wrong, cool, I win. You know, I go into it being wrong. It's not the worst thing in the world. I can admit when I'm wrong. I just use my past experiences to just, you know, make a bit of an assumption that I'm probably correct after years and years of seeing these things. And when somebody tells me, oh, it's not for the money, does thing that only really makes sense if you're trying to make money. Oh, you know, we're actually doing great, lays people off, continues, you know, doing something to make more money, lays people off. I obviously am going to think that's, you know, something here doesn't make sense. But a lot of things about Ashes don't make sense. A lot of things about Steven don't make sense. Why is this guy spending millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars per year making this game? He obviously is into it. Unless there's something behind the scenes where he's like, you know, nefariously building up this game and this engine and plugins, and he's going to sell them on the Unreal store, and fucking he's going to, even if the game fails, he has all this stuff that he can turn around and sell or license out or whatever. You know, maybe there's some business angle I don't know about. Maybe it's not as crazy that he's putting all this money in. But all of this is irrelevant to say. The game is being built. And until we see otherwise, until like 30% of the studios let go, or until the game just vanishes or whatever, the game is still being developed, and people are still having fun playing it. That being said,
great news! Now your account has a level.
I don't got YouTube Premium, so it's still gonna play.
And you get free daily cases.
it's not going to be me. I've said this a million times. Long gone are the days where I'm going to go and play an alpha version for a game that used to sell $500 early access packs. It's just not worth it for me. Like, I just don't care. Treating this game as a full release, I'd go in and my review would be exactly what I think it's going to be. And that is, even if it's fun, the game's not finished. Even if, you know, every single person I've seen talk about how you get to endgame means that I don't want to put the time in to get to the end game by just sitting in a group pulling the same mobs over and over again, killing them. I did that 20 years ago. I'm good. Like, I don't need to see that. And I'm certainly not going to put that time into a game that's going to be wiped, and we all know it's going to be wiped. Just miss me with that shit. I'm not going to waste my time. That being said, the MMO subreddit is, of course, just completely fucking...
I hate that when you like play a game that's like early access, and especially if it's early access for a really long time, and you like get all these levels and you get all this gear, and it goes to full release and completely wipes all your characters. It fucking sucks. Because all that time you put into it, gone. You gotta start over again. Well, you don't want to? Well, that's too damn bad.
Just big, hard-throbbing, veiny dicks, all out, just beating it over the idea that this game's going to fail and that Steven's the worst piece of shit ever, and the scam is coming closer to an end, I see. I bet they have one more trick, though, before it's shut down. I don't know, guys. I don't want to see Ashes fail, regardless of what people think about me. I don't want to see the game fail. I want everything to succeed or fail based on its own merit, and whether or not it succeeds is going to be based on whether the game's good, and everything else is completely irrelevant. But the fucking hate boner that the MMO subreddit has for this game it's funny to me, but I'm not the one it's aimed at. I mean, most of these people hate me as well. So it's equally funny, I guess, in that regard. But it is just funny to read. We'll have to wait and see. Again, this video is just complete bullshit and nonsense, like every single video I ever release. It is what it is. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. Look out for some more videos. I'm recording a bunch today.
Thank you, Kira. Well, that concludes this video. I ended it at about 54 minutes. If you like this video, I would appreciate if you leave a like and comment down below where I can improve. Anything you didn't like, let me know. If you think you liked, let me know. If you got suggestions down below of any video you want me to react to, like, feel free to leave them down in the comments down below, and I'll get around to it when I can. Otherwise, this is going to be the end of part 1. Thank you for watching.